Blaxploitation cinema really offered something that hadn't existed before. They got into areas that other movies didn't, but crime novels did.
Super bad.
If there were more than 5 blacks on a corner, they considered it a riot, so they bring out the dogs, and they turn the water hoses on. All this stuff was still happening in the 70s, man. And if you fought back, you went straight to jail. The only way we could get away with it was on the screen.
The fear was that black power was going to have to come from the barrel of a gun.
This is badass cinema.
My first exposure to blaxploitation films, downtown LA at that time, that whole Broadway area with all the old theaters and everything, that was like a black Hollywood. All those big theaters, all up and down the street, every film was a blaxploitation film. They had a big thing there with Hitman with a picture of Bertie Casey on it, and the Mac, and a picture of Max Julien on the marquee. I felt like I was in a black world. Every theater was a blaxploitation film. So I go into this theater, and everybody is talking through it, and they're making fun of everybody. They're like, "Oh, suck my dick! Oh, fuck you, motherfucker!" All right, all this shit is going on through it. I've never been in a theater where this was going on before. I mean, how old am I? I'm in 3rd grade, okay, maybe less, and I was like, "Wow, this is really kind of cool." And then Black Gun started, and then everyone shut up.
It just meant that they'd found a way to tap into a black audience, and we exploit the dollars that they have by making movies for them, by them, that are about them. It didn't mean that they were exploiting our sensibilities or anything else. It was just trying to make a dollar.
In the mid-'70s, the early '70s, when white cinema, when mainstream cinema was about defeat, it was the Nixon era, it was Watergate, people didn't feel empowered. Feminism was making men sort of have to rethink their relationship to romance and sexuality on screen. Black movies had heroes who won, people that could affect change. They were funny. They were people with these actors who were bursting with charisma and ambition, laying claim to the screen for the first time. They were not affected by the kind of defeatist attitude that had taken its place in pop culture. They were about winning.
My son Tupac was greatly influenced by the films of the 70s. He actually, by the time he died, had amassed a collection of all of those films. He watched them as a kid, and he watched them over and over again. What he watched as a kid was these films and Bruce Lee's films and all of the martial arts films, and that was his basic culture.
Stop now while you have an integrity of a race of people?
We needed something to make us feel better about ourselves. You watch the news every day, people were being beat down, things weren't progressing the way we wanted to. Martin Luther King was asking us to do one thing, Stokely Carmichael and Rap Brown are asking us to do another thing, the Panthers are doing their thing.
Revolution has come, it's time to pick up the gun. Revolution has come.
I believe that the Black Power movement influenced every single aspect of culture in the 60s and the 70s. It's odd that people don't realize it now. It's just kind of what happens with time. But I think that there is no question that that is so.
We're gonna walk on this racist power structure, and we're gonna say to the whole damn government, stick 'em up, motherfucker. This is a hold-up. We come for what's ours.
A lot of those movies were made because of the I don't want to say power of the Black Power movement, because we had perceived power. We had no real power, but whatever concept of power it was, I think that we had enough to apply pressure.
The two films that really marked the takeoff of blaxploitation are Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song by Melvin Van Peebles and Shaft by Gordon Parks. The Van Peebles film really pointed out the whole formula for making a success in Hollywood and defining this new short cycle.
You know, the way I got into films, I had a grudge growing and growing and growing against what I kept seeing on the screen. And I said, well, shit, I can do better than that. The cause that I had was giving black folks a sense of self which had been stolen from us. So that's how I made Sweetback.
You got a sweet back.
The colored intelligentsia were not too happy about it. And the nationalists were not too happy about it. Now, I didn't say the Panthers. Now, the Panthers stood up for the film and made it required viewing for all of their members.
Van Peebles defined it as a revolutionary movie, and the Black Panther Party backed that position. And so the debate was on. Was Sweetback truly revolutionary, or was it just purely exploitation?
It was an X-rated movie, and it had depictions of sexual activity that at the time were quite provocative and bold. And that's why people went. Very few people actually picked up on the political message in Sweet Sweetback, and there is a very strong one.
Okay, what should I make him? A clerk? Musician? What's something everybody's interested in? Well, poontang. Shoot, everybody's interested in sex. So I said, okay, I'll make him a sexual animal. That's how it came.
What Van Peebles really loved to do, he was an instigator, which is, I think, what a lot of artists, great artists want to do, especially in this country, is to just provoke people. And it was obviously purely from a commercial impulse to get as many, afros in the theater as humanly possible. There is in no sense the word a conventional narrative, and in fact, it seems to have no interest in that. It's just all these offhanded stories, which I thought was one of the most revolutionary things I'd ever seen in the movie. Certainly, I think in this way it ranks with Godard because it broke down the expectations that black audiences had about movies.
Well, I go into the theater, and the theater's packed, and not a sound. You could have heard a rat pissing on cotton. It's toward the end of the movie, and Sweetback is out in the desert. I sit down next to an old black lady, and she said, "Oh, Lord, let him die." She says, "Don't let them kill him. Let him die out here on his own." It was off her chart that a Negro, a colored, a black, an African American, one of us, would ever make it to the end of the movie. See, we didn't make it to the end of the movie, huh? She knew he was going to die, but she at least didn't want the white folks to kill him.
The thing about Sweetback is that he got away. That never happened in a movie before. There's never been a movie where the police or someone was running after a black man and the black man escaped.